Hello, good morning. How is everyone today? If you are here live, I'd love to know where you are, where you're calling in from, and yeah, just where you are in your practice journey. This is interactive, so feel free to, throughout this whole thing, to ask any questions you might have, and I will answer them. Feel free to pop stuff into the chat. Welcome today. Oh my gosh, when I was getting dressed this morning, I found my partner had this Liberated Therapist coaching shirt made for me. It was in my drawer, so it was perfect. So I had to wear it to the live today. Very sweet. So welcome everyone. We will go ahead and get started. If you are new to my world, I'm Emma, and I help therapists go private pay, build and grow private pay practices that are online if they want, that allow them to travel the world, have adventures, have a life that fills them up, have time and location freedom, have financial freedom. These things are so important because we as therapists, we give so much, we do such amazing work, and we deserve to be fulfilled as well. So I have had a private practice for over 9 years now, almost 10, and I've been fully remote since 2020 with COVID, and I've been all private pay since 2021. So I've talked about this before, but I went into private practice after having a really traumatic experience at some agency type jobs. And when I did that, I at first had no clients. I had no idea how to market. I got on a ton of insurance panels, and that was filled me up with clients quickly, but I really became burnt out and it was too much. So I decided to go all private pay in 2021. I was terrified to do it though, so I had to get some help, learn about marketing, and I'm so glad I did because I've had a full, really fulfilling private pay practice working with my ideal clients all online ever since that time. And now I teach therapists how to do that using my own method and really what's worked for me with very minimal marketing. So that's what we're going to be talking about today is low maintenance marketing and having a full practice. And this is something I've talked a bit about before, and I kind of talk about it in a lot of videos, but there's so much crap out there about marketing and about marketing a private pay practice that I want to clear up the confusion for you all today about what you need to focus on and really what you don't need to focus on, what you need to spend money on, what you don't need to spend money on. So just a little disclaimer, I always say I'm going to be referring to your ICA, which stands for your ideal client avatar throughout this training. So that is the type of person you'd love to work with in your practice and you'd love to attract in your practice. Okay, so let's talk about some of the things people think they need and think they should focus on with their marketing, because there is a lot. I don't know about you, but when I started, I was like so overwhelmed, and I essentially just tried to do everything. Like I threw a bunch of spaghetti at the wall and was like desperate and hoping for something to stick. And I was, taking clients that could only pay like $40 or whatever, that were friends of a friend and they weren't great referrals or whatever. So because it was just, I felt like I had no idea what to do. I look back at that version of me and I totally understand that, and I know there is a much easier way. And I'm grateful that I found it. So here's some of the things I hear a lot from people that they're sort of being told they need to do when it comes to marketing, or maybe they just sort of think they need to do it this way. So people are being told, like Instagram, like there are so many people, so many private practice people out there right now teaching that you need to become kind of like an Instagram influencer. This is the wave of the future for private practice. This is how you build a full caseload. It's not true. Instagram can be helpful in a very minimal way, but you do not need to be posting reels. You don't need to be posting every day. You don't need to have a huge audience or become an influencer at all. So also money on ads, like spending money to get yourself to the first page of Google. This is something you can do. You definitely do not need to do this. And it's all gonna be wasted, the money, if you don't have your foundation set up. Also spending money on someone to do your website or do your SEO, again, these kinds of things can really be a waste of money if we're not thinking critically about our ideal client and how to attract that person. Like, the people who do a website and do SEO can give you generic, they can get you to page 1 of Google, the SEO people, but you might not be attracting your ideal clients. So we're going to talk more about that. And it's important that you are writing your website and showing who you are as a therapist, so that, because you're the specialist, so that you can attract your ideal client. We're going to talk more about that and why. Funnels and email lists, totally unnecessary. You don't need them. Private practice is a very easy business to market. People are actually looking for you as a therapist. Business cards, not needed, this day and age. Like, no one pays attention to business cards anymore, or flyers or anything like that. Networking events, often a waste of time, honestly. It's really knowing your ideal referral partners and networking with them, which we'll talk more about. Really just like trying to be on top of everyone's mind, which is what I tried to do in the beginning. And now I'm reading this list and it's like, it's exhausting just to think about this, about trying to run ourselves ragged, doing all the things, spending money on all the things to have a full practice. And you really do not need to. I'm thrilled to report that, again, having a full private practice can be so low maintenance and so easy. I've talked about this in other videos, just about how it is one of the most fulfilling jobs I think there is, because it combines, this ability to be fulfilled and help people and see your ideal clients, and give back to them and all of these things, but it also allows you to earn a great living and not to have to work very much. Honestly, like, in my private practice, I will often work 10 hours a week and still earn 10K months. And I want that for you. It's totally possible for you. So, okay. So this strategy that we've just talked about, it's complicated. It can be expensive because, by the way, if you're hiring someone to do your SEO, you likely have to continue paying them. You have to continue paying the Google Ads person to keep doing this strategy for you for years, because you haven't kind of figured out how to market effectively, how to have your good foundations. So that's going to become expensive. Not to mention with things like social media, like we talked about, like you would be having to post every single day, multiple times a day, and you have to go viral really to see really any kind of client base come in from that. So that would be so much work, because you're, with social media, obviously you're appealing to everyone. I talked about this in my last training, but really you need to be appealing to the people in your niche, in your state, who are at that moment looking for a therapist. So you need to appeal to a very small base, but with social media, there's this huge broad swath of people you're actually talking to. So in order to get to your ideal audience, you'd have to be just so big. So it's such a waste of time. Also, people who are scrolling on Instagram, I talked about this last training as well, they're really not often in the mindset of looking for a therapist. They're like trying to zone out or like have fun. They're not in let's get therapy mode right now. So, all right. So on the one hand, you have all these people sort of telling you need to be doing all the stuff and be staying on top of everyone's mind in order to be found. And this can be really overwhelming. So a lot of us just think, I don't have time for this. I'm going to just pay someone to kind of do my marketing for me. Like, I'm just going to outsource it. And I totally understand this, because it can feel so overwhelming to like go into this and sort of like not know what to start, where to start, not know how to market yourself. So when we, like I was talking about before, when we simply pay someone to like do our SEO or run our ads without first getting our foundations really, really good, we're really throwing money down the drain. And I hate to kind of break that to you or say that if that's something you've been like doing or hoping you can do. So first of all, a lot of the people who do SEO, they are not therapy experts. Like, they're not experts in your niche. And so they may know how to do some like generic SEO, and they may know how to use words like therapy or anxiety or depression, but they're still going to be probably marketing you as a generalist therapist, or trying to get you to the top of Google as more of a generalist type therapist. And so the people you're going to get calls from, you may get calls, but you're going to get so many calls, and a lot of them are probably going to be a wrong fit client. And additionally, since you've been kind of paying someone to do this for you, you're not going to know how to do it, what they did. You're going to need to keep paying them to continue to stay at the top of Google. So it really doesn't make sense to be paying someone for this, because actually a part of SEO is narrowing down and your specialty and talking to your ideal client, because SEO is kind of like a language we're using with Google, a language that Google speaks, where we're trying to tell Google who we are, who we help. Google is then connecting us with the person who's looking for what we do. So a kind of a go-between SEO person isn't going to understand what we do well enough to communicate that to our ideal clients. So we really have to be the ones to be able to understand how our ideal clients think. What are the keywords they're going to be using? What are the things they're going to be looking for? What kind of blogs and language on the website? What kind of therapists they want to work with? And when we just kind of offload all that to like an SEO person, we miss out on this great opportunity to connect with our ideal clients, to give them value before they even meet us. And we miss out on such an opportunity to work with more of those people who would be a great fit for us. And we may get leads, but they're often going to be the wrong leads. And so it can be the same thing with Google Ads. If we're just kind of like an ad into the generic therapist abyss, we may get client leads, but they may be the wrong fit, and we're going to have to continue paying someone to do our Google Ads, rather than if we really hone our messaging and positioning and our ability to speak to our ideal client, and then we work on SEO and getting to page one of Google. That's going to help us attract the right fit clients for us and really not have to do much marketing for years to come. SEO is so powerful, but we have to be empowered to do some of it ourselves and to know some things ourselves. Not all of it. Like, there's technical crap you don't need to know. And that's why in my program, I have a tech professional. It's included, help you optimize your website and the speed and fix errors and stuff like that, which is really important for SEO as well. But there's a large part of it that we need to really think critically about in order to, again, be able to not think about our marketing, not pay for our marketing for years to come. So, okay. So I'm wondering if any of you, have experienced this, like kind of like using someone to do your ads or your SEO or something and getting a bunch of calls, but them really not being the right fit client. Some of my clients have had this experience, and it's just, it's really wasting money. It's throwing money down the drain. And as I was saying, when we just kind of hire out the marketing, it really robs us of an opportunity to connect with our ideal client, but also to grow as clinicians and really step into like who we are and who we treat and who we are as a clinician, essentially, like our identity as a clinician. So I think that your marketing can actually be a huge part of your development as a therapist and your growth as a therapist and your the way you treat clients as a therapist. Your marketing can enhance that, and this is an opportunity here as well. Also, our webpage can be a great resource. Like, I know some people feel guilt about being private pay, but our webpage is actually a place where clients who can't afford to see us can go and get actual free help and resources in a way by reading our page. And when we can give them that free help through our blog, through, through just seeing our webpage, that can be really healing and wonderful for people. And it is actually a way of giving back. It's an act of service. So I'm really passionate about this, about therapists being able to talk about what they do, talk about their niche, talk about their specialty, help the clients who land on their page, help the clients who maybe don't even ever come in for therapy, and help the clients who do. And by the way, if we're not speaking about our niches and what we do and, diagnoses and all of that stuff, like, who is going to be speaking about that on the web? Like, it's probably going to be people who don't understand it as well and could do more harm. So I'm super passionate about that. I also want to say that the amount of time or money you're spending on marketing does not necessarily equal more clients. So all you really need to do to market your cash pay practice effectively is literally to be the undeniable choice for your clients when they land on your page, which is sort of what we've been talking about, and then to be findable by them. So there's two parts to this. So when we're just hiring out, again, for the ads or the SEO, we're really only working on the being findable. We're not working on being that undeniable choice for these people. So I'm going to tell you a little story about how I overcomplicated my marketing in the beginning and how it just discouraged and kind of exhausted me. So when I was first in private practice, I spent hours I've talked about this before, but I made fancy brochures and business cards. I spent a lot of money on them. And then I would go pass them around, and then I started giving like community talks. So I went to like treatment centers, I went to law firms, and then I would like put these brochures everywhere to talk about it. And I would give talks to these people on their lunch breaks. However, after months of running myself ragged, like doing this and trying to show up in my community, I didn't get a single call. So can anyone guess why? So the reason was I was staying top of mind, again, to everyone, but I wasn't making myself visible, first of all, to my ideal client, because my ideal client was not at these treatment centers, probably honestly not at most of these law firms where there were a lot of men. I wasn't finding my ideal client, first of all, but I was also not making myself findable to people at the moment they were thinking about and searching for therapy and wanting to buy therapy. So I was trying to stay top of everyone's mind, and I was focusing on that, like, let's be present, let's get a bunch of people to see you, which is what a lot of us do, but I wasn't doing it in a strategic way, and I don't want you to waste your time trying to stay top of everyone's mind and not being strategic about it, because this gets us burnt out, this makes us waste our money, like we were talking about. So, okay. So the way to simplify your marketing, the way to have this low maintenance marketing is first to really set up these foundations that we've been talking about. So we have to lay the groundwork, and with some intention and some work up front. So our foundations are not about setting up an LLC or an EIN or having a website, even though all of that stuff is really, really important. And it's not about just like having a Psychology Today either. Or just having a niche, because a niche can be really vague and non-specific, and we need to go into more depth to be able to speak to our ideal client, because our ideal client is really looking for a specialist. The people who can afford to pay out of pocket for therapy are looking for someone who really sees and understands them and who is a specialist in their problem. That is what they're looking for. If they land on a page that, is generic Gina, who treats anxiety, depression, also does family therapy, sex therapy, blah, 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 they are going to, and then they land on another page that's like, I treat women in midlife who are experiencing anxiety after divorce, and this client is someone who is in midlife experiencing anxiety after divorce. Who is she going to go with? Like, she's absolutely going to go for that other person who has said that that's what she treats specifically, and they're going to be likely to pay out of pocket to go see her. So we really need your messaging, not only your niche and who you work with, but your messaging itself, the flow of your website. We need that to be so damn good that your ideal client is like, oh my God, she sees me, she gets the pain I'm in. She also knows how to help me. She knows how to sit in my pain. She knows how to be caring. Whatever it is, she gets this. She has experience in this. And those are the kinds of therapists people are willing to pay out of pocket for. Those kind of therapists who really see them. So again, this is why we spend so much time on this in my program in the beginning, because this is the base of all of it. This is the foundation for all of it. So I want you to kind of change this narrative for yourself. You don't need a website just to sort of have a website, just to have a presence. You don't need to have a Psychology Today just to have a presence. In fact, it's kind of useless. And that might be a little extreme, but if you're a private pay person, it can be kind of useless. You have these things to show your clients, to connect with your clients. So this is our opportunity to speak to them. This is our opportunity to get inside their heads. This is our opportunity to show them that we hear them, that we can make space for them, that we understand them, that we know how to help them. So we want to really capitalize on that opportunity. So that is what we do. We help you do that. It's really about, like I've said this before, but like falling in love with your ideal client and giving them that value before they meet you, knowing them inside and out, getting into their heads. So when you have this, I call it like your superpower messaging. You connected so deeply with your ideal client and you've identified your zone of genius and you're really rolling with it and this is awesome. This is so important. It helps you be this obvious, irresistible choice for your clients. But I say this a lot, it's all gonna fall flat if we are on like the 10th page of Google or if no other of our ideal referral partners knows about us. So the next step in all of that is really getting you found. And this, again, it's not about having a huge Instagram or blowing up TikTok or going viral or giving a ton of community talks or going to a ton of networking events. Like, again, if you're not speaking to your right clients and being findable, if you're not showing up in the places where your right clients are looking, it doesn't matter, and in many of those places, there's only a small percentage of our right fit clients, or there's none of them actually. So therapy is a thing. This is an amazing part about therapy. People with money and intent, they go search for a therapist, and this is awesome. We don't have to force this. This is not some weird service we're offering. People want to heal. So what do we do about that? Where do people go look for a therapist? People look for therapists, and I've talked about this before, by talking often to other therapists that they might trust, or to people who have access to therapists that they trust. So, people know that therapists know other therapists, and this is a great thing because it means oftentimes your colleagues can be great referral sources for you. And people also, of course, go search on Google. They search on Google for specialists. So this is awesome because it means that we can use our SEO, which is already a part of our website, and how we have used our voice and communicated our value to our ideal clients and spoken to them and spoken in Google's language. We can use all that to get to page 1 of Google and to have our phone being blown off the hook by these clients who are perfect fit clients for us. 99% of the calls I get are from clients who are perfect fit clients who see my website. And by the way, my it's good, but it's not even as good as what I give to my clients, like the template I give and how I help my clients talk to their ideal clients. But 99% are perfect fit clients. So many say to me, your website, it totally spoke to me. I knew you were the therapist I had to work with. This is what we want. This is what we want for you, for your clients to be calling you and saying. So once you know you have the tools for SEO, which is what I teach you in my program, like how to set up your SEO, your on-page SEO, the simple part of it. Then there's simple things you can do to stay on page one of Google. So I teach you how to do that in my program. Again, I also have this tech professional do the off-page SEO, so you don't have to mess with that stuff. So if you're interested in learning more about how I can help and about both being that magnet for your clients and then being findable for them, I'd love to chat with you. I offer free 45-minute consultation calls. I'll put a link to it in the comments, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for being here today.